Hey everyone, it's Jenny. Today I wanted to talk about warming up and moving us into some Pincha Mayurasana work on the wall. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to practice opening up the shoulders, just kind of doing some puppy pose drills, and then we're going to take some Asana drills. Again, this is just for the purpose of opening up, and then we're going to work Pincha Mayurasana with the wall, and typically 5 or so rounds of deep Ujjayi breathing sort of works to be around 30 seconds depending upon how long your breath is on the inhale and exhale. So we're going to do that today. So here we go. Come on over to your mat. If you have a couple of blocks, have those handy. If you don't have blocks, you could also do the same things, perhaps with a chair or maybe even at a table. So here we go. So come on down to your table pose for a moment and just take this moment to just settle into your breath. And then we're going to take a few cycles of cat and cow just to warm it up. Find your TVA, find that constriction of your inner belt, and inhale. Let's pull the tailbone and the gaze up, and exhale, round into the spine. And we'll do this 4 more times just from the core. Inhale, lift, and exhale, round. And again, inhale and exhale. 2 more times, just trying to find your core. Inhale up and exhale, rounding. And 1 more time. Inhale, hug it all in, and exhale, squeeze and round. And then so from here, just come on back to your table pose, and we're going to sit back for a brief child's pose just to let the shoulders know that we're going into some deeper states of opening. So just an easy child's pose to begin. And let's just start to walk the hands together, stacking one palm on top of the other. Just noticing how the shoulder blades feel down the back. Relaxing the shoulders downward, relaxing the armpits downward. And then we'll switch hands, just taking it easy here. And then bring the hands back away from each other, but keep them kind of close. We'll tempt the fingers, go a little bit deeper, really pull the hands toward the body here. So you can drag the shoulder blades down and away from the ears. A few cycles of breath, really keep it all very active. Try to find your core. And then we'll come on up to your table pose, and if you do have blocks, you can set this up. If you don't have blocks, again, you can do this sort of a thing at a table just by standing up in an L shape, okay? So we're going to take the blocks at the lowest orientation to begin, just to see how it goes. Now if you're at a table, you're just going to work in a little bit deeper as the orientation of the blocks go up. Okay? So you just want to make sure your elbows are on the blocks, leaning back into your child's pose. We're going to bend the elbows, bring the palms together behind the head, and just let the head drop down. So ideally here, we're walking the elbows in nice and close toward each other. We're relaxing, just letting the shoulders open into a deeper sense of external rotation. Now, some of you might feel like this is not enough opening, but we're just starting kind of slowly. We are going to increase the intensity here in just a moment. Just breathing slowly and evenly. And then we'll release this. Again, if you have blocks, you're going to turn them to the higher level orientation, the mid-level orientation. If you don't have blocks, you're just going to bring your chest through the arms a little bit deeper on a table, okay? Again, elbows on the blocks. Going in a little bit deeper. Try to walk the elbows in slightly closer toward the head. And really dropping down. Resting into the shape. Asking the shoulders to dive in a little bit deeper. Asking the breath to support the process. Maybe closing the eyes. back there, see if you can press your palms together. Let's take 5 rounds of breath. Press, press, press for 1, 2, a little bit more active. 3, press those palms a little bit tighter. 4, squeeze your elbows in towards your head. And 5, let's release this, come on up. So you can always increase the intensity by moving the blocks to the highest level orientation. We're gonna head actually into a puppy pose for the purpose of this video, but feel free to go to the higher level orientation if the puppy pose is not suitable for you. So for puppy pose, we're gonna take a couple of pulses. So what I'm gonna have you do is walk the hands forward and grip the front edge of your mat with in your fists, and then just set up the body. Then we're just gonna start little pulses, pushing the chest toward the floor gently, and then using your core to pick it back up. So let's take 10 of these. Push the mat away, drop down. There's 1, use your core, pick it back up. And again, push the mat away, drop down. There's 2. Push through the core to lift back up. And again, drop down. There's 3, maybe it feels a little easier. Lift back up. And again, dropping down, there's 4. Use your core to lift back up. Just notice how that feels. 5, maybe your chest can reach a little closer to the floor. Lift back up. There's 6. Down to reach. And pick it back up. And here's 7. And 8. And 9. And 10. Let's just stay down here, just letting everything land. Pushing that mat away. Really pressing the chest closer to the ground, just seeing how you feel. Some days are better than others. Just take notice. Is it possible to engage your transverse abs here? Just providing a lot of stability for the low back, and then for the chest and the shoulders to open. So let's curl the tail under. We're going to come on up. So just nice and slow. Replace the hands back underneath the shoulders. Taking a few more cycles of cat and cow or circles if you'd wish. Just inhale and exhale. And again, inhale, exhale. And again, inhale and exhale. So back into center, we're going to head into the Anjaneyasana, and we're going to work on some drills for the hips. So let's step forward with the right leg. I always do right leg first because Ashtanga. So coming on up to the back knee, and as always, put something underneath your back knee if you need it. And just stay here for a few cycles of breath, dragging that left hip forward. Okay. Now, if this feels good for you, you can stay. If you want to go a little bit deeper, we're going to bend the back knee and grab the foot or ankle behind us. So here we go. Feeling free to pull it in. And just being here for a couple cycles of breath. Letting that quadricep relax. Letting the transverse abdominals be engaged. And then we're going to start the process of pumping that back leg. So here we go. Pull the leg out. Take an inhale. Exhale, pull it back in. Let's do it again. Inhale, pull it back out. Exhale, pull it back in. Again, inhale, reach it back out. Maybe even kick it out. And exhale, pull it back in. Let's take 2 more. Inhale, pull it back out. Exhale, pull it back in. One more time, inhale and exhale. Let's stay here for 5, sit up nice and tall. 4, 3, 2, and a 1. Let's release. Let's make our way into just a brief half split. leaning on back. You can take an inhale and exhale, take a fold, and just notice how you feel in this forward fold. So when we are kicking up to the wall or kicking up to any sort of inversion, the idea is to not really kick up, but we still have to have some flexibility. We still need to be warm in the muscles, so that way on our way up, it's safer and it feels like there's a little bit more stability. Okay? So we're going to switch sides. Let's take that right leg and just bring it back. And we'll take the left leg forward. And again, just finding your Anjaneyasana. Nice low lunge. And this moment just to drag the right hip forward and the left hip back. Notice how that impacts the opening in the front of the right hip. And again, you can stay right here if this is plenty for you. Okay, so no problem if you're feeling like you don't need any more than this. Great, and then let's go ahead, if you're gonna go a little bit deeper, grabbing the back foot, we're just gonna simply pull it in, see how it feels. And then we'll start the pumping, so here we go. Inhale, pull it out. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, kick it out. And exhale, pull it back in. And again, inhale, kick it out. Exhale, pull it in. I'm gonna go a little bit more forcefully. Really kick it out on your inhale. And exhale, pull it back in. Turn forward, let's do one more. Inhale, kick it back out. And exhale, pull it in. Let's stay right here. Really sit up tall. Use your TVA for 5, 4, 3, 2, and a 1. Let's slowly release this thing with care. Heading into your half Hanumanasana, just an easy half split. Inhale, pick up the chest, and exhale, fold forward. Letting this be a nice, easy way into the back body. Just stretching the hamstrings, stretching the QL muscles, the low back. Letting the chest lift up and forward. Then we'll come back up, nice inhale, and exhale. You can take that foot back, and let's flip over the toes for a second, and just sit on the feet. So stretching out the feet, always a good idea. We're gonna take some circles with the hands. We are gonna head into Pincha Mayurasana, which is the forearm stand with the wall. If it feels like that's not gonna be okay for your shoulders for whatever reason, or your elbows or anything else, then just kick up into a handstand like we've been doing, okay? So Pincha Mayurasana, if you're gonna work on this, the idea, of course, is to keep the elbows exactly shoulder width distance. So I have a lot of students who will take a yoga strap or a belt and just kind of wrap it around their upper arms just to keep their arms locked in, because oftentimes what happens in the Pincha Mayurasana is we start with good intentions, and then once our legs kick up into the air, our elbows go broop, and this is not a great structural support system, because we actually want our skeletal structure to be stacked, okay? So we want to actively feed the elbows in toward each other. Another option is you could grab a block and either put the block between the forearms to kick up. Oops, it could work that way. Sometimes that works really well for me. Another way that you could use the block here is you could put the block between the L of the thumb and the index fingers and just try to hug the elbows in. So this structure of your arms is actually going to be the thing on the floor the whole time, okay? So I'm just going to turn around, and like I said, we're going to just work 5 rounds of breath, which is about equatable to 30 seconds. So 30 seconds times 3, we're going to lift up 30 seconds, come down for 30 seconds, lift back up 30 seconds, come down 30 seconds, lift back up 30 seconds, and then we'll be done, okay? So here we go. Making your way to your wall. Ideally, you're gonna bring your fingertips as close to the wall as possible, so that way you avoid any possibility of banana backing. So just take a moment in your dolphin shape. I'm on my forearms here, I've got my elbows underneath my shoulders. And then just start to send your gaze between the forearms, walk in, and we'll lift up. Oops, here we go. For 1, 2, again, nice and slow breath. Maybe pick up 1 foot just to see how that feels. 3, really pushing from the shoulders, picking it up from the core. 4, nice neutral pelvis here to see how it feels. And 5, let's slowly make your way down. And just rest for a moment. I really love child's pose as a rest, so maybe feeling free to just take the arms back by your hips, less involvement of the shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, good, 5. Let's make our way back around. We'll set it up. And again, just make sure those elbows are underneath your shoulders. And try to just lift up slowly this time and really actively push from the shoulders to get there. So here we go, picking up 1 leg and lifting up for 1. So I want everybody to practice just lifting up 1 leg to the sky so there's no banana back. 2, maybe even adjusting your gaze through the window of the arms, maybe even looking up at your lifted foot. 3, squeeze the thighs together in toward each other. 4, and nice and slow on 5, you can make your way down. Again, just resting perhaps in a little child's pose for 5, 4. Now maybe this next cycle, you move a little further away from the wall and just simply practice not touching the wall. 3, 2, and 1. Let's make our way back. 1 more time. I've moved a little further away from the wall. Looking forward, walk in and lift for 1. So here's a trick, knees together, 1 leg up, the other toe is on the wall. 2, this helps to make sure your banana back is not happening. 3, you're nice and vertical, just try to get up there, see how it feels. 4, stay a little bit longer, you can do it. 4.5, really squeeze, find your TVA. 4 3/4. And on 5, let's slowly make our way down. Little child's pose. Just landing into your shape where you can relax. Now you might elect to do that up to maybe 5 to 7 rounds. And if you're practicing Pincha Mayurasana, I'm going to recommend that you do it at least 5 times every time you practice it. Because obviously the more times, you can come on up, the more times you practice this sort of a drill at the wall, the better off it'll eventually be. So I think one of the things for me is to also practice in the middle of the room. And it has been really useful for me to have somebody kind of catch my feet over the years. It's also been really useful for me to practice the exit strategy of the potential cartwheel out of the thing. So I'm not going to show that in this video, perhaps in the next one, but you can kind of think about the idea of the possible cartwheel out and how might that happen in the Pincha Mayurasana, and just plant that seed for the moment, because obviously the more time you can take away from the wall with this sort of activity, the easier it's going to become, because then you'll really start to feel where your central line, your balance point really lies. So keep practicing this particular thing, and all of the opening of the shoulders and the Anjaneyasana will really help with everything as well. And don't forget to look for your TVA. Thanks everyone so much for being here. Namaste.